Okay, shalom, shalom, kwam yasha'Allah, koholoyimla, Yahweh, H.I.M Yahushai, H.I.M Rachahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to other H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh H.I.M Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yahchanan the Waf. Just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit, and just wanted to just do a quick lesson on a little ride and drive. I'm driving, so be roughly paraphrasing the scriptures, but I'm going off into, if you've been hearing about this real ID, you supposedly have until May 7th to actually get it, you know what I'm saying? And I asked the chat GPT, what's the difference between the your regular driver's license or your regular state ID and the real ID? And there's really no differences at all, really, other than you have to have the real ID now to basically fly to certain places, you know what I'm saying? Or I think you can use your passport if you have one, but it's all linking up to a data system where they're pretty much overall trying to bulk up. I'm assuming it's data. I don't know why they don't already have it. I'm assuming that they're just trying to just centralize it to one station, because it's just kind of silly, because it's no different than a Michigan driver's license and a St. Louis driver's license. If you go to St. Louis from Michigan, they're going to be able to dial you up, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to pull up, okay, this person, yeah, he has a valid driver's license. All that shit pops up into a computer base. So what's this difference with this real ID? So we filter it through the scriptures, man. We know that everything is all coming down to Revelation 13:16, and 17, that mark of the beast. And the apostles and elders been going off into this as of late real strong, because the things that's really going on is really speeding up out here. There's a lot of shit that's going on, as far as the scriptures talks about the third woe, World War III. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the backdrop as far as that. And people are not really focused on it too much, no more. It was a bunch of talk of Russia, Ukraine. It still is, but people are kind of bored with it, and they just like, man, get that shit over with. But Trump is trying to give all these ultimatums to, these major nations as far as Russia and China, and they just not going for it. So Trump looking pretty damn stupid on the world stage right now. But this real ID thing, it's a lock here. Yeah, I'm out here in this park here. This got some shit shut down and closed off. But yeah, this real ID thing, it's all leading up to that mark of the beauty and the beast, man. It's to really, because what they're gonna do, they're gonna scale that down. They're gonna scale that down soon. Because right now it's just, getting on airplanes, things like that. I'm not sure if it's the trains. It could be trains as well, but I'm thinking it's just, airports. And that's going to back those airports up too. It's going to jack those airports up. And see, what people are going to be seeing is going to be a line for people with real ID, and a line for, okay, do you have your real ID? Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get on a plane. So what does that mean? People are going to be forced to, we're not forced to, they're just going to go and do it. That's if you're a traveler and you're about getting on planes and shit every other weekend. Like the federal government, they do a lot of flying, and just ESA in general, they do a lot of flying because it's better weather now. People are gonna be flying out, going on vacations and all this other stuff, and you're not gonna be able to do it without it. So what's the difference from just why not push for a passport if you can use a passport anyway? Because you can use a passport. I think you can use a birth certificate as well. It's a few other things that you can use to get around the real ID thing, right? So why not just say, hey, well, you know what I'm saying, get your passport, this, that, and the third, and you just have an extra piece of identification, which those newer passports too, they're more digitalized too. They got like a little digital sensor type of thingy in it, you know what I'm saying? I haven't renewed mine in a long time. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to go nowhere. not trying to get on no planes anyway. So, oh, I forgot, you can't get into federal buildings. That's what it pretty much overall is. So with your regular ID, which may have your state on it, it's got the barcode already on the back. Because I know, like here, where if you go to a casino, they can swipe your ID just like a police officer can check your ID in a squad car. They have the same system at these casinos. They'll put it under like a certain light, you know what I'm saying, and it gives off a certain glow or something. But they can swipe it, you know what I'm saying, or barcode scan it, and they can see if you are who you are. So, you know, even the casinos have that system. So what's the big deal with this real ID? You know, the scripture says that, you know, to be circumspect, to work circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. And that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're not ignorant of Satan's schemes. See, he's basically gathering it all up and putting it all together, where he can basically bulk all this shit up and say, at some point, something, you know, might happen where, okay, now we need everybody. It doesn't matter. You got to have it to actually drive. You know, you know, you can't have like your regular driver's license anymore. Because if you don't get the real ID and you just got your regular driver's license, you can still just drive. You know, you can still, you can do whatever you was doing before other than going to a federal building. So now, say for instance, I'm not sure if those are considered to be federal buildings, you know, like, say like you go to, you get a letter in the mail saying you have jury duty. And to get to the courts, to get to that jury duty, and them not supposedly, because they can supposedly fine you and arrest you if you don't come, you know. So if you don't have the real ID and you can't get into the building, so to speak, you know, that means that you will miss your date, or that's going to force you to go and get, you know, go and get one. Because people are generally, it's really like a scare tactic. You know, they're scaring people really. And overall, you know, this is how Esau starts off. He starts off kind of gentle. You know, he like, let's give them a chance to actually chop it up and do this. You know what I'm saying? But once they see that it's not working and people are not actually doing it, then they start to force their hand. It's just like with COV-19 when the COVID thing went down. What did they do at first? They were all offering, you know what I'm saying, you know, the jump shot, you know. There was like, you know, you have all these incentives. You can get free NBA tickets. You can get, you know, free donuts. Man, I've seen all kinds of shit. You can get free marijuana. You can get free this. You can get free that, you know. Just show that you've gone and taken your shot and we'll give you this. You can get a free whatever. So when they done that at first, it was like people was kind of like, you know, you had some people that was going for it, but it was like some people was just like, nah, man, I'm good. Fuck that. But then they started to force the hand, like, oh, well, you know what? You can't get into these buildings. You can't come to work. You know, you're going to have to, you know, either have a religious exemption, or you're going to have that super duper doctor's note where it's saying that you can't take this particular jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So they started to force the hand of the people. And a lot of people went and took that shit. But then now you got a lot of these people that quit their jobs. Remember? A lot of federal, a lot of military. They quit because they was like, nope, I'm not taking this shit. So now guess what? Now they're pretty much being called back to get their jobs back, and the government actually got to pay them back pay. You see what I'm saying? So it was kind of like when they forced the hand, people went out and started doing it. Like, well, I can't, I got to do this, I got to do that. I don't even think you can go into a post office without this real ID. I think that might be considered to be a federal building, but they don't ask for ID when you walk in, but you just never know with these people, you know? So it really just depends on, you know, what you have to do. But overall, it generally always starts from the government. When you have these government jobs, these federal jobs, things of that nature, state jobs, little stuff like that, you know, they pretty much kind of, it's like, you know, people make pretty decent money in those areas. So they don't want to lose those jobs. You know, those are good government jobs. They don't want to lose those jobs. So they comply. They may not want to do what they're saying to do, but they comply because they don't want to lose the job. They got bills to pay. They have shit to do. They don't want their lives disrupted, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. They got car notes, insurance. You know, they just like, well, let me just go ahead and do it. Fuck it. You know, and they'll let these people do anything to them. So, saying all that to say that this is how it's going to be when it comes to the mark of the beast. That chip, because they're going to make it mandatory at some point. That's like right now with this real ID, this shit is mandatory. You're not getting on no airplane or going into none of these federal buildings or any other thing that they may have in between, because they may not be even telling you everything too. You know, Esau, he's you know, he don't give you the full story. But guess what? You're not about to get on no fucking airplane without that ID. And I seen, you know, a couple of news stories, a couple of news coverages on it. Cause you got this, I think this chick, her name is Christy Gnomes. I'm trying to think if that's her. No, I think it might be, I don't know. Trump got a bunch of women in there in his cabinet running a bunch of shit that they shouldn't be running, because the scripture talks about how the woman, you know, shouldn't be in those positions of authority, and you're usurping authority over the men. But they're in these positions of authority. I'm talking about top spots too, over military shit. They over Homeland Security, ICE, all kinds of shit. But you know, the one lady, she was doing you know, cause she got like a commercial, basically, like, yeah, it's gonna help the community, it's gonna help keep our country safe, and it's gonna, you know, let us know who people really are. Like, man, what the fuck is you talking about? The regular IDs that, you know, that you generally have right now, they're state of the art. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, it's the same tech. It's just got like 2 different stars, I think. This newer one got a gold star, and I think in the right upper corner of the ID. But still, like I said again, what's the difference? Other than the difference is they're just collecting all this data and they're forcing people one way, so to speak. Because the next step is going to be what? That's not going to be enough. You know, it's never going to, because Esau can never have enough. That's not going to be enough. And we like I said it again, man, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. The scripture says to never trust thine enemy. For like it's iron rusted, so is their wickedness. It says, though they humble themselves and go crouching. And that's what this lady is doing with this commercial that she got. You know, yeah, it's gonna help our country, you know, it's gonna help us be safe. We're gonna know who people are, and you know, the immigrants and the illegals, and you know, all this, you know, because see, they sold these so-called white people these megas on the fact that, okay, you need ID to go and vote and all this other stuff. They push real hard for that. So it could actually come down to a point of, okay, even though you have ID, you're still not gonna be able to vote. You have to have real ID to be able to vote. See, that's how Esau gets down. He's very sneaky and very crafty, and he moves, you know, in increments. But you know that Revelation 12:12, it says, because he know that he had but a short time, he's gonna come down with great wrath. You know, they have a short time right now. So they're pushing real fast. You know, the money is dropping. Trump doing horrible, and you know, right now with these tariffs and shit, you know, and the shit is all falling apart. And we understand that it's, you know, it's orchestrated, you know what I'm saying? But you know, overall, it's orchestrated by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, you know. But things are about to get nasty out here, man, and that's why we keep bringing up this subject, because anytime they get to talking about IDs, digital currency, Bitcoin, whatever the fuck, I don't care. If it's got to do with digital, you best to be looking at Esau, man. You best to be looking at Esau. Because when shit crash, that's going to be what he's going to come through with. Oh, well, we can, you know, we got you. You just have to, you know, we have to know who you are, though. And the only way that we can know who you are, you have to have this. And then it's just going to go from that to, well, you got to have this. They're going to take it a step further. Oh, well, you lost a real ID? Oh, okay, well, we're going to make sure that you don't have, you know, you don't lose your ID anymore. We're going to put this shit in your skin. You know, we're going to attach it to you. And it's mandatory. You can't go anywhere, you know. Like I said, they done their test with that COVID hookup. When COVID-19 went down, man, that shit, if anybody can remember, if you were grown up and you had to go do business, I remember when the shit first went down, I was trying to get a part for my car, and I went to a damn AutoZone, an auto parts place. And that day, I couldn't get into that store because I didn't have a mask. I'm like, oh, what? They got a mask? Oh, okay, they done started a mask mandate? It's like, yeah, man, we can't let you in the store, man, unless you get that mask, man. So, that I remember the day. I remember that shit. I remember the very first day when I had to, you know, like, kind of jump on the mask thing, you know, and then, you know, they had like an elaborate system set up at my job, man. I'm talking about, this wasn't like your regular, they had like big computer screens and like a damn, they set up a system where you had to walk through like it's almost like a damn, a airport scanner. You know, like when they scan you at the airport. But you can see your whole skeletal imagery, your heat signature on the computer, on the screen as you walk through. So they were doing temperature checks and checking you checking your body through you know, doing you know, in a process like that. I'm talking about, this shit was elaborate. This shit had sensors, cameras, and all kinds of shit. I'm talking about, they I don't know what company came through and set that shit up, but that shit was elaborate. It wasn't like no regular, they putting some thermometer shit up to your ear, or, you know, your, you know, whatever. No, they had some elaborate shit. And we had to go through that bitch every single morning. You know? They cut off all the other, and not, mind you, we had to badge in to begin with, which is digital. So first off, you badging in, your badge got a barcode on it. You know what I'm saying? So all this stuff has been unfolding over the past couple of years, because I remember before COVID-19, they was already trying to do the real ID. But when COVID-19 went down, it shut that down. Because everybody, they was like, oh, well, we're going to have to hold off. We're going to expand it until, because they would have been done this. They would have done this years back. This was supposed to have been implemented like 4 years or so ago. I remember that. But when COVID-19 went down, it shut everything down. So it was like, okay, well, we're going to just wait it off a little bit. We're going to extend it. So now here they go. It's back in motion with Trump back in office. Because I think it was in motion when Trump was in office at first. If I'm not mistaken. You know, don't quote me on that, though. But anyway, yeah, man, this thing is, you know, it's all bubbling down to that market of Beauty and the Beast. So just be prepared, man, and get set. So, you know, the scriptures talked about how, you know, using the world and not abusing it. So we're just, you know, using the world right now, going forth, getting our daily bread, paying our bills, just being responsible adults, you know, doing what we have to do to just survive. Because this is not our rest. This is not our rest, man. We're not to be looking to this place for any type of, you know, relief or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Lord give us days where we can relax and have some relief here and there. But, you know, overall, man, this is a damn prison. This is not our rest. So we do what we have to do to survive. We abide by the laws of the land, unless they telling us something that the Lord said don't do. Which is going to be one of those things, that market of Beauty and the Beast, because they're going to come with, they're going to try and use, like, I remember, I think it was the governor of New York, the new governor, this lady, not the old one, the guy that they got rid of during COVID-19. And there was a few other people too, you know, trying to use, Romans 13, you know, obey the authorities to try and get you to go and take that. I think, even, Kamala Harris mentioned that. They was trying to use, Romans 13, obeying authority, for you to go out and take that jump shot, man. Nah, man, see, when it comes to stuff like that, you have to know the differences, you know, between when the Lord is saying, you know, to obey authority and when not to. We're not going to be obeying no damn authority, because he's telling you, oh, Romans 13 and 1 on down to verses like 1 through 5 or so. Yeah, you should obey that, because, you know, the scripture says to obey that. And then it's going to make the community better and safer. And it's no, man. No, you're not going to play science, you know, science, man, with our bodies, man. Scripture says to never trust thine enemy. We're not supposed to get cuts and markings and shit like that on us. And we're not, we're not to have no other gods before Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because that's overall what it's going to boil down to. If you allow this man to do shit like that to you, what you're saying is you trust in him more than you trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Overall. So, yeah, just wanted to just touch on that real quick. I mean, there's plenty of videos. You can look into it. You know, you can ask Chat GPT. Hell, you can go on Google. They'll give you a Google AI overview and let you know what this real ID is about. But, you know, we filter it and we see where it's all leading up to. It's all leading up to you're not going to be able to buy or sell soon unless you have that mark. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're dealing with this man. That's when real faith is going to kick in, where you're going to have pure 100% adulterated faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man, in these last days, to protect and keep you safe and to provide for you. Because other than that, you're not going to be able to go nowhere. You're not going to be able to go and do regular business like how you're able to do regular business now. Hell, you might not have, you know, you might be on a damn run, living out of a backpack or a damn tent or out of your car somewhere, trying to just, you know, skate by Esau trying to run us down. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we understand that there's going to come some affliction, man, that comes with this truth, man. So it's going to be some hard times. But the Lord is going to look out for us. You know, that Isaiah 33:6, I think it is, roughly paraphrasing, where it speaks on this wisdom and this knowledge shall be the stability of our times. You know, this wisdom, you know, and that's why, you know, it's important to read. The scripture says, blessed is the man that read. So you'll have within your spirit, you know, the scriptures, man. So, you know, you can fight, because we fight with the scriptures. You know, our weapons are not carnal. Our weapons are spiritual. So I'm going to end out there, man, with that. Again, you know, I'm just doing a little ride and drive. But with that, pray that this lesson was edifying. Kwam Yasha Allah na Baba Ball.